Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Solo Sikoa sends a chilling message to Roman Reigns before entering WarGames match at Survivor Series 2024. Solo Sikoa was not successful at Survivor Series WarGames as he took the pinfall to Roman Reigns in a huge main event in Vancouver. Before he entered the match, he sent a lengthy message to the OTC. Team Solo had the advantage at WarGames as Jacob Fatu defeated Jey Uso on SmackDown just one night before. Not only this, but they were working as a complete unit, unlike Team OG Bloodline, which comprised of individuals fighting together. A big difference in multi-man matches. After getting ready to enter the cage, Solo exited the initial cage and went to Roman Reigns, telling him this would age like milk, as Solo Sikoa would be the one to take the pinfall after getting hit with multiple super kicks, a haluva kick, and a GTS before the OTC finished him off with a spear. Solo even tried locking Reigns outside of the cage, but the open roof meant that it was relatively easy to climb from the top. It's going to be interesting to see where this war goes. As it was mentioned, Solo still possesses the Eula Fala. The air in the arena was thick with anticipation as WWE SmackDown rolled into its final show before Survivor Series 2024. Fans packed the seats, buzzing with excitement for the upcoming WarGames match, a bout that promised chaos, betrayal, and the possibility of a seismic shift within the bloodline. Among the storylines swirling, one stood out with a sense of raw tension: the growing rift between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. For months, the cracks in the bloodline had been widening. Roman Reigns, the self-proclaimed tribal chief, had ruled WWE with an iron fist for over 3 years. However, his once loyal enforcer, Solo Sikoa, had shown signs of dissent. The silent powerhouse, who had always been a man of few words, was beginning to carve his path, leaving fans and insiders alike speculating about his next move. The night began with Paul Heyman, microphone in hand, delivering his usual grandiose introduction for Roman Reigns. As the tribal chief emerged, flanked by Solo Sikoa, the crowd erupted in a mix of cheers and boos. Reigns looked every bit the dominant force he claimed to be, but there was an unease in his demeanor, a flicker of uncertainty as he glanced at Solo. After months of dominance, Roman was no stranger to betrayals within his inner circle. Jey Uso had left the bloodline in a dramatic fashion, and Jimmy Uso's loyalty remained questionable. But Solo was different. His loyalty had always seemed unshakable, but in recent weeks, his silence had grown louder, his actions more unpredictable. Midway through the show, Solo Sikoa was given the rare opportunity to address the WWE Universe. Standing alone in the ring, the enforcer cut an imposing figure, his piercing gaze scanning the crowd. The arena fell silent, anticipation mounting as fans waited to hear what he had to say. "Roman," Solo began, his voice low and deliberate, each word carrying weight. "For too long, I've stood in the shadows, doing your bidding, protecting your throne. But the shadows, they're where the monsters live. And I've been watching." The crowd erupted at the ominous tone, sensing that this wasn't just another promo, it was a declaration of intent. "I've seen the cracks in your kingdom, tribal chief," Solo continued, "and I've heard the whispers. You're not as invincible as you think. At WarGames, I'm not stepping into that cage to protect you. I'm stepping into that cage to prove that the bloodline doesn't need a chief. It needs a monster." The tension in the arena was palpable as Solo dropped the microphone and walked away, leaving the WWE Universe and, more importantly, Roman Reigns stunned. Backstage, Roman Reigns was shown watching Solo's promo on a monitor, flanked by Paul Heyman, whose face was a mask of concern. Reigns' jaw tightened, his usual aura of confidence replaced by a flicker of vulnerability. "He doesn't understand what he's saying, my tribal chief," Heyman stammered, attempting to placate Reigns. "Solo, he's just venting. He's frustrated." But Roman wasn't convinced. He knew better than anyone that Solo's words weren't born out of frustration. They were a warning. Later in the show, Reigns made his way to the ring, determined to address Solo's comments. His usual calm, measured tone was replaced with a sharp edge as he stared down the camera. "Solo Sikoa," Roman began, his voice dripping with disdain. "You think you can challenge me? You think you can take what I've built? Let me remind you who brought you into this family, who gave you purpose. Without me, you're nothing." The crowd booed loudly, but Roman pressed on. "At WarGames, you'll fall in line, just like everyone else. Because if you don't," he paused, the weight of his threat hanging in the air, "you'll regret it." As the show progressed, tensions between Roman and Solo continued to build. In a backstage segment, Solo confronted Roman, standing toe-to-toe with the tribal chief. The silent enforcer finally spoke again, his words cutting through the tension like a knife. "You talk too much," Solo said simply, before walking away, leaving Roman seething with anger. The confrontation set the stage for what promised to be one of the most explosive WarGames matches in WWE history. On one side, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and a fractured bloodline. On the other, a coalition of rivals eager to topple the tribal chief and exploit the growing discord within his ranks. As SmackDown came to a close, the camera cut to a final promo from Solo Sikoa. In a dimly lit room, Solo stood alone, his stoic expression illuminated by a single, flickering light. "WarGames isn't about loyalty. It's not about family," Solo said, his voice a low growl. "It's about survival. And Roman, you're not ready for what's coming." The chilling message sent shockwaves through the WWE universe, leaving fans speculating about what would happen at Survivor Series. Would Solo Sikoa finally break free from Roman Reigns' shadow? Or would the tribal chief reassert his dominance, solidifying his place at the top of the WWE hierarchy? Social media exploded with reactions to Solo's chilling promo. Fans and wrestling insiders alike praised his delivery and the intensity of his words. Solo Sikoa just delivered the promo of his career. "This is the start of something big," one fan tweeted. "Roman versus Solo has the potential to be the best bloodline storyline yet. The tension is real," another posted. Even WWE legends weighed in, with some speculating that Solo's rise could mark the beginning of the end for Roman's historic reign. As Survivor Series 2024 approaches, the stakes couldn't be higher. WarGames has always been a match that tests the limits of its participants, but this year the emotional stakes are just as intense as the physical ones. For Roman Reigns, the match represents a chance to reassert his dominance and prove that the bloodline is still his empire. For Solo Sikoa, it's an opportunity to step out of the shadows and establish himself as a force to be reckoned with. But more than that, the match is a battleground for the soul of the bloodline, a faction that has dominated WWE for years, but now finds itself teetering on the brink of implosion. Solo Sikoa's chilling message to Roman Reigns has set the stage for one of the most anticipated matches in Survivor Series history. As WarGames looms, the WWE Universe is left wondering, will Solo Sikoa rise to the occasion and dethrone the tribal chief? Or will Roman Reigns once again prove why he's the head of the table? One thing is certain, Survivor Series 2024 will be a night of reckoning for the bloodline, and the fallout will be felt across WWE for years to come.